because you could say Jokic face, but let's just keep it at Shamet face, because I think Jokic definitely fell victim of that. Like, wait a minute, this guy looks like Chunk grown up. Like,
right. I would say he's conquered Shamet face syndrome.
He has, and he's really put it together, because we didn't mention Denver there, which has now become, I mean, you guys thought Milwaukee or Houston were bad with me. There's not a city that I love more that likes me less. The variance between my love for the place and their dislike for me, that's the greatest one now, which is a real shame, because I was looking at property there not long ago. But I went through every single number they have. Like, literally every number they have is really good except their shooting numbers. But that early, what the hell's going on with Jokic? Who is Jamal Murray? It is worth pointing out here now that Jokic, if you go back to November, he was 16, 10, and 6, 45 from the floor, 24 from three. And in February, he's 27, 12, and 9, 60% overall from the floor, 35, very good for a guy that size from three. And Jamal Murray is now like 29, 3, and 6. They put together a nice stretch before they had a loss. They had 6 in a row, that Lakers loss. I still don't love how predictable it is. I don't know, because here are the minutes guys for him lately, like in the last few stretches of games. And, the Millsap thing's been in and out, and Porter's been out with this ankle thing. But here are their top minutes guys. And this is why I go, okay, all the Denver stats are good except the shooting. Jokic and Murray are on fire. The Jokic thing is not an issue anymore, even though he came in just looking absolutely gassed. But here are your top minutes guys for Denver. Jokic, Murray, Jeremy Grant, who hasn't been that good, Gary Harris, who's been awful. Will Barton, who's a nice, like, maybe fourth or fifth scorer on a really good team, but he's kind of their third scorer all the time. Monty Morris, and then Torrey Craig. There's like 4 names on there in their top 8 minutes wise, and Millsap will be back in that mix, but Millsap's a different matchup guy. The rebounding numbers have fallen off. And as much as you and I both like Porter Jr. and wonder like why they're so weird with the way they use him, especially when they're missing other guys at times. And again, he has the ankle thing right now. I know what every number tells me, and I know what those two guys have shown me, but I know when I look at some of their top 8, 7-minute guys, I go, I'm supposed to pick them to win 3 rounds in the West.
Well, it's the what I just said with the Clippers. Who's your 5 when it really matters?
Exactly.
Game 6 on the road, you're down 4 with 5 minutes left. Who are your 5 guys? And Gary Harris can't be one of them.
Who are the Lakers? Who are the Lakers 5 guys?
Well,
though? Because you want to play that game with the Clippers.
I have your answer. I think it's LeBron, it's Davis, it's Danny Green, it's Avery Bradley. And then it's like whatever guard that Vogel thinks can hit a 3 in the corner.
So then Caruso.
Whoever's made a couple threes earlier. That's why it's amazing they didn't address this. And that's why when we talked about Tristan Thompson, what they really needed was, the miraculous buyout guy who could be the guy who hits the big 3 in the corner. And I don't know who that guy is in their team. The Lakers fans would say it's Kuzma, but I think we have a pretty big sample size now of the Green with Kuzma, with Davis and LeBron. Just Kuzma can't seem like he can find his footing. And I don't think you can play him with those guys.
Kuzma's taking more threes. He can do more things than Caruso. I trust Caruso a little bit more.
They were phasing Caruso out there near the end of the All-Star, heading into the All-Star break.
Bradley's been on fire.
Yeah.
I mean, he's been so good that I almost go, well, what's sustainable about this thing?
Well, he's going to get hurt. He always gets hurt.
We should have mentioned Kuzma earlier in that, but you didn't even put him in the 5.
I didn't because
with them.
He's not playing that well.
There's some weird numbers with them, like LeBron off the court, like what a disaster they turn into. And
right.
I think they've hit this kind of weird stretch. And I think everybody hits not just one, but multiple weird stretches. But it's weird that they're like this 1 seed, and it feels like, do we really know who they are? But I don't, with those 2 guys, like, I'm not really worried about them.
I'm not either.
Let me just say that. I'm not sitting here being anti-Lakers or worried about it, because I'm just not. But there's some rotational stuff that I still don't think they figured out, like a lot of teams.
It's funny. Those 2 guys are so good. They have as many rotation questions and who's out there with 5 minutes left questions as anybody. And I just worry less about it, because I just feel like those 2 guys it's going to be like what we saw in the All-Star game tonight. At some point, alpha dog, force of will, athleticism, all that shit. And LeBron will probably Jedi mind trick Avery Bradley into making threes that he's never made in a playoff game before. Before we go, I was watching The Town. We did a rewatchables on The Town already. So they rob Fenway, and then they leave Fenway. Jem has the 1 bag. Affleck doesn't even take a bag. And they go. Jem ends up getting gunned down, leaves the bag. So that bag's gone. So all of the money they took from Fenway, they didn't get any at all. Affleck goes to Fergie the florist, kills the guy in the front, has the shootout with Fergie, kills him.
Sick tat, by the way. Sick tat.
Right.
The mask tat with the I'm getting that. I'm going to get on my back, though.
Takes the Fergie the florist money. How much money do you think he took from Fergie the florist? Because it was enough to fund an ice skating rink, also to get away and to now live in seclusion in Siesta Key or wherever he went, where he got that little ramshackle thing. How much money did he actually take from Fergie the florist? And then secondary question, how much money could Fergie the florist have even had there? Like 25,000, 40,000? Like what's a realistic number for this Charlestown florist who runs drugs? Or am I totally going under and he had like $2 million in there somewhere?
Hey, Dougie McRae wasn't afraid to spend a little cash either.
True.
You know, like you look at that truck, was one of the things she figured out. Now, as a writer, I think what they were trying to do is instead of like taking all the money from Fenway after they killed a bunch of people, that he doesn't bring the bag. So now he's stealing from a guy who's worse than him.
Yes.
So the audience doesn't feel as guilty. That's a little trick we do. And
after they murdered 10 policemen, but I still rooting for Affleck to get away.
Rooting for him to get out of there.
But first
$200 grand? I mean, like $200 grand is not enough to retire. He's a young guy.
How much does it cost to completely redo an ice skating rink? Because I always thought that was kind of expensive.
That's going to be close to six figures, right? I got to be honest with you. Like if I'm on the lam, I'm probably not donating $100 grand to a hockey rink.
So you're saying you wouldn't stop on your way out to go dig a hole in your old girlfriend's garden to jam a whole bunch of cash there and then escape? That wouldn't have been on your agenda.
Me? Definitely not.
You're
me.
out.
I mean, no, I would have been like, I'm going to meet somebody at Hooters in Sarasota.
I like that. Affleck had the uniforms of every relevant Massachusetts, whatever. He had the MBTA. He had police. He had FBI. He had paramedics, whatever. He was like, had the greatest Halloween store ever. I don't know where he got all this stuff.
He really did. I imagine people that work for public transit, cops, firemen, all the EMTs. I bet you back then people were living in Southie.
Yeah.
And what would be easier than just bribing the dry cleaner? And they're going to just be able to get another uniform from the town anyway. So you bribe the dry cleaner, he throws you a couple of uniforms. Although now, people start asking questions. Hey, you had any EMT outfits go missing? So I don't know if you want to keep your circle in a little bit tighter. I don't know. Are you saying a year later you found this fatal flaw in the script?
A year later, it was like 10 years later. No, I don't think he kept a lot for himself, because if you look at the place he was living at the tail end, they have that wide shot and it's basically a shack. I mean, it looks like he's not living in South Beach in some condo. Like he's in the Keys somewhere in the cheapest possible shack, just staring out in the ocean, wondering why he didn't. Why, if that ice skating rink was worth it in Charlestown, maybe he should have just kept the money.
I believe man has this is a gender thing, but I believe man always has this fascination of just packing a bag and leaving and starting over. Or maybe that's just me. Do you think you'd be good at it?
Well, it's like Neil and Heat, right? You don't have anything, you can't leave in 30 seconds when the Heat's around the corner. That was Doug
go
McCray.
bag, yeah.
It's great.
I got bored once. I put a go bag together. But it was like, what
was it? I hope it wasn't a week ago.
No. It was, I don't know why I did it. Like I just started like, and then you go, hey, you work for Disney, right? Like, that, you don't even like weed.
Yeah.
Like, I think you're good here.
Kyle's going to just come into my office one day and say, Russillo's gone. What do you mean he's gone? He's gone. There's no trace of him. He just left a note. He said, he'll see me on the other side. I don't know what it meant.
I'll leave you a note, Bill. I promise you that.
Bill, I'll see you on the other side. Ryan.
It's been real. Best of luck.
Well, we made this work. We weren't together this week, but we did it on the phone. In future weeks, at least most of the time, we'll be together and we'll be able to see each other. But Ryen Russillo, your podcast is going to be Tuesday and Thursday this week, and we're also taping a Rewatchables that's going to run this next week. So thanks as always, and we will see you on your podcast on Tuesday. Thanks, buddy.
Dude, honestly, I can't believe how much fun these are. 2 hours and didn't even feel like it. So,
yeah,
I'm not just saying that. I look down at 90 minutes. I go, holy shit.
I know. I was trying to keep
time.
it going, and we just kind of kept. I left I had 3 killer topics that I didn't even get to. So I guess we'll do it next week. All right. I'll see you on Wednesday.